Ta-da.
Hey Karen, how you going?
Hi, Lindy. I'm great. How are you?
Hey, it's so good to see you over there on the other side of the world in Canada. How's Canada?
You can see it's still light, and it's like, almost 9 o'clock at night, 8:30 at night,
Oh,
right? So like, I mean, we have nice long days now, and I like the long
ah,
days and the warm weather.
okay, lovely. Well, we're on the opposite side. We're in our winter because I'm in Australia, and June is our winter, June, July, August. So we've got a few months ahead of the cold. But one good thing is I always build a fire every night and keep myself warm with the fire. But I do miss the summer. I do miss the beautiful spring. So nice, nice for
And
you to have that.
yes, I get to enjoy it now. You can live vicariously through me.
Thank you. So, Karen, I'm really interested to know what it is you do. Tell me a little bit about what you do.
Well, I do neural movement lessons. So they're movement lessons that communicate with the brain through moving, and they're done like kind of in specific way. My teacher coined the frame nine essentials. So one of these essentials is you do the movement with attention. Like so many times in the day, we're going around really fast and we're moving and not even aware of what we're doing. And like, I've had a purse on or something, or I got a bag or something and I bang into somebody because I have no spatial recognition of that
Right.
extra thing on. I'm not moving with attention with the extra thing on, right?
I get that. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you practice with that, then you'll know how much space you need around to not bang into somebody, or not to bang into, and it just makes moving easier. And then another thing is, like, the second essential is slow, because our spirit only learns better slowly. Our brain learns better slowly. When you're doing things slowly, then you have the chance to learn it. A lot of
Interesting.
people will do things really fast, but
Yeah.
they actually don't know how to do it. If they slowed down and then
Yeah.
did it and then sped up. So first of all, you want to learn to do it slow. Like when you're playing the piano, you might use one or two fingers,
Yeah,
right?
right.
And then all of a sudden you're using more fingers, but you want to do it slowly, like, so you're
So it
not.
gives it time to integrate.
Yeah, yeah. So the integration of all of the movements and everything. So slow is one of the things. And then there's variations. So I have a friend that's a golf pro, and she teaches people, how to hold the golf club and all of that stuff. And she taught me this one thing. It's like, she gave me the golf club and had me hold it. And then she turned it upside down. And I tell you, when that was upside down, I could hit the ball really, really well. As soon as it was turned around the right way, it's like, okay. So,
Wow.
and I've seen people, practicing piano. So if you lay underneath the piano and you start playing with your hands like this, right? And then you sit up and then you sit on the side. So if you do many, many variations, that's going to give your brain new information all the time.
Yeah, right.
So you can improve the easy part, you know
Eh.
And the
Amazing.
whole thing is make as many mistakes as you can, because they're not mistakes. You're just finding, 10,000 ways that don't work.
Yeah.
So don't
That's
take,
brilliant.
yeah, don't take life so seriously. You'll never get along alive anyways.
So how do you apply this, Karen? Where would you apply this?
Well, I right at the moment, like, I do movement classes online on a Zoom call. And I do also, it's done like two ways. So it's done in a group class, like yoga or Pilates or something, or it's done one-on-one. And I've done a lot where I've worked with children with special needs, and that's enabled me to basically travel. Like, I worked in Hong Kong, Singapore, Bangkok, different places in Canada, even in the Great White North in Canada. So I've
Wow. It's
you
quite international then.
it is, and there are practitioners all around the world as well. Like when I first started, there was only a number of practitioners in the US, and I think, the second person in Canada. And then, like, what happens with this is a lot of the parents that I worked with their children with, in specifically in Vancouver, more than half of the parents took the training
Wow.
because
Okay.
they got results with their children.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And it's not a cheap training. The training is quite costly. Plus, you have to leave your family for a certain period of time in a year or two.
Right. So how does that work, Karen? Do people have to invest in their time into give a time frame to do this? Is it like a chunk of time?
Well, okay, so what I have found when I work with kids specifically, or I've worked with stroke victims, um, adult ones, if you do 2 lessons per day, one-on-one, for about 4 or 5 days, and then you go away and you do that again the following month, you get the best results. Because I've tried, people come to see me once a week, and I get some results, but not as quick as when I'm doing an intensive, because then, like, they're immersed. And
Yeah.
the child that does the best, and I've seen this and I so love it, is right after a movement lesson, they'll start doing what I was doing with them. Like, one little girl, I was moving her pelvis because she didn't know how to move her pelvis. So I was just moving her pelvis, just like rocking it back and forth. And as soon as she was done, she's sitting there going like this, getting short and tall, like, her brain is on cue. She's like very intelligent, right? And it's so nice to see
Okay.
these kids doing this stuff.
So who would benefit? What kind of people would use this process that you're doing?
Well, there's a lot of parents that have children with special needs, and they see the benefits. Like one little girl that I worked with, she had an 85% brain bleed at birth. She has cerebral palsy. She's blind, and they heard about me from a doctor up in the Great White North, Yellowknife. And her mom just happens to live in my city. So they were
Wow.
coming down for a visit. And so I told them how I did it. And then they wound up staying a little longer because they were going to only stay for not quite a week, but they stayed for a week. And the one thing with her, they noticed that she was paying attention to everything I did. And this little girl, up to age 3.5, cried every single day of her life. And for a parent, how horrible that is. Like, I mean, gut
Terrible.
wrenching, right? Just
Terrible.
because you can't help the child, right? So she stopped crying, at least during the lessons. And then, the mom wound up, she was on maternity leave. She stayed for 3 months and got a lot of lessons, so
That's fantastic.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
that's one. And then, people that want to continue as you get older, moving better in life. So I have a couple that are over 80 in my classes, like not a couple, but a couple of women that are in their 80s. And I was doing a movement lesson last week and I thought, oh, they're not going to like this at all. So I was going to break it down and make it a little simpler. And I did. And then I saw like one fellow's like edging to go. So I'm like, okay, well, whoever wants to try this. Well, these two 80-year-olds, 80-plus-year-old women were doing it. I'm like, oh my God, I was so shocked.
So cool.
Yeah, it was totally awesome. Like they
I
did.
love that. That is so good.
Yeah, it's like, it's great to see that the brain is plastic from cradle to grave. So
Yeah.
there's no age limit. And like I said, when you're getting older, you want to make sure you're more flexible. You want to keep your mind
Yeah.
sharp, which this really helps. And one of the 9 essentials is flexible goals. How some people, it's like, I got to do this, I got to do this. It's like, well, maybe you're not supposed to do that. Maybe you're supposed to go over here and you can go on the journey and you think you're going here, but nah, you're supposed to be here. So you hold your goals, be
Beautiful.
flexible with your goals, right?
Amazing. I love that. And so Karen, have you got an example of what kind of thing you would do?
I could give you one. I mean, a lot of people are sitting in front of a computer now a lot, so like
Yeah.
their eyes
Sure.
get strained, right?
Yeah.
So usually this is better when you're laying down, but I can do a variation when we're sitting. So if you're sitting, you want to sit up really tall. You want to make sure your feet are flat in the floor. So if you have like heels on or shoes, you could take them off or leave them on, but have your feet as flat on the floor as you can, and see if you can kind of get a sense of where your sitting bones are on the chair,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of do that. And then we'll do something with the eyes, because the eyes are so important for our lives, right? So let's just keep your nose pointing on the screen and just turn your eyes a little to the right and a little to the left. And just go really slow and notice where it's easy and where it's hard. And for me, when I first started doing this, going to the left was such a challenge, but now you know that's changed. And then just leave that. And now let your eyes look at the screen, find your spot on the screen, and turn your head right and left. And again, slow and small. And, stay within a range that's easy for you. So this would be a variation. Good. And then just come back. Now, I'd like you to just turn your head and your eyes to the right and come back, and do that a couple of times. Just turn your head and eyes to the right and come back. And are you letting your eyes lead your head when you're doing this? And now turn your head and let your head lead your eyes, and see how different that is. Can you get the distinction and the differentiating of that?
Yeah, yeah.
It's huge, eh? Right? Like, and now turn your head to the right, but your eyes to the left. It's a smaller movement. You see, make funny faces too.
Yeah.
Because, we get all these things that we start holding, that in these habitual holding patterns. It's like, I can't do this.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, and then just sit and see if you can feel a difference, because I did a little bit more on the right than the left. Can you feel a difference, subtle or not? And if you don't, it's okay.
I can feel this different feeling up here in my head. I don't know what that is, but it's definitely a sense of movement. Yeah,
Mhm, mhm.
I can sense that.
And can you sense it down your whole right side? Maybe
My
yes.
right side is a bit is lighter.
Yeah, yeah. Right down to your sitting bones, right? Maybe
Yeah,
even your feet and your legs, right?
interesting.
Like I said, the changes are quick.
That's fantastic. I love that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you. What
You're
a
welcome.
gift, gorgeous gift to everybody. Thank you. What a great thing to do. We can do that on a daily basis and just practice that and open up our flexibility. Amazing, amazing.
Mhm.
Well, how can we get in touch with you to learn more about this?
Well, my name is Karen Toth, and that's Karen, T as in Tom, O T as in Tom, H as in Harry. And you can pretty well find me. I also have Healthy Body Moves, is my website. And you never know when I'm going to change that. But you can find me on Facebook, Karen Craig Toth, and I can put that in the notes below just so you can
Or
find.
maybe we can put a link or something in for
Yeah,
you.
yeah. And I have a YouTube channel with some odd things there that you can, do. And also, if you go to Healthy Body Moves, my website now, you can get 4 free movement lessons.
Oh, amazing. So what is that called?
Yes,
Healthybodymoves.com.
yes.
Healthybodymoves.com. I love that. That's a great name. Easy to
Yeah,
remember too. Healthybodymoves.com. I love
yeah.
that.
Yeah, so you can go there and sign up for 4 free movement lessons, and then they come right to your inbox, and there's lots of fun there.
Ah, that is amazing. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's just really, I'm so inspired by that. It's just wonderful. Thank you again. And I really look forward to jumping onto your website and getting those movements. It'll be really, 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 really good. Thank you.
Awesome. It'll be great to have you. And thank you for having me here.
Let's do it again soon. Okay. Thank you
Yes,
so much, Karen.
thank you.
Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.